Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and Superstar spoilers. As normal, happy birthday goes to Naomichi Marufuji, turned 37 years old on Monday. Jimmy Jam Garvin, a.k.a. James Williams, turned 64 on Sunday. Stephanie McMahon turned 40 on Saturday. The late Mark Bison Smith was born on September 24th, 1973, died November 22nd, 2011 at the age of 38 due to heart complications. Dark main event from Raw was listed as Roman Reigns, Enzo Amore, and Big Cass versus Kevin Owens, Rusev, and Chris Jericho. Congratulations, Petey Williams, on his and his wife, newborn son. I'll show you a picture of that. And he named him Little Destroyer, born today. And he says on Twitter, meet the future main eventer of WrestleMania 55. Billy Corgan spoke with ESPN and said he will change the TNA name if he is successful in his attempt to purchase the company. The ultimate success in business is really carving out a singular identity so that when people think of that identity, even if they don't like it, they see that as your own. Corgan said, I think that this is infinity more valuable than. Yeah, I like them too. I never wanted to be in a band where people said, yeah, I like them too. You are either going to love us or hate us. But being between us is just not interesting to me. Corgan also spoke about the possibility of working with CM Punk. I hope that someone who is so gifted comes back to professional wrestling, even if he wants to be there. Corgan said, so of course, I would just love to see him in a ring. If it's our ring, even better. Even if he just wanted to be involved, I would love to have that conversation with him. Read the full interview at ESPN.com. Amen on the name change. As for Punk, I don't think he would return to the company to work for current management. But I think I'm taking a never say never approach to working with new management if Corgan is able to purchase the company. Corgan also addressed wanting to limit his on-air appearances, the possibility of a full-length Final Deletion type movie, and more. And a Final Deletion is a part of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy's movie thing. Billy Corgan also, he spoke with ESPN to interview about his plans for TNA on the Hardy's program. So maybe like superhero movies, we get the Hardys as the center of the universe and start to use them to sort of branch off in other directions. We are making it up as we go along. And that is sort of the fun part. It's really exciting because we are hopefully writing a sort of new golden dawn in terms of how wrestling can be presented on TV. And I think that's fantastic. On what he says as the future of wrestling on TV, I have been pushing the beginning that we needed to do what I call out of the box and out of the arena type segments, Corgan said. I really saw this as the future of wrestling on TV. On WWE copying the Final Deletion angle for the Wyatt/New Day segment, you know imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Corgan said, look, everybody copies everybody, whether they want to admit it or not. I don't think that's a critical issue. I think it's an innovation. Innovation is a critical issue. The business in general is still living off the fumes of what was the creative revolution of the Attitude Era of WWE, and by some extension, ECW. No one has innovated as much since. A new photo shows that Luke Harper is advertised for Raw events in Chile, Peru, and Ecuador on October 5th through the 8th, next week. Planet of Wrestling revealed a photo, but there was a problem with the picture on the website, so I wasn't able to catch it. Now, he will be facing Sami Zayn. He replaces Jack Swagger, who was moved to SmackDown this week. WWE has announced that Seth Rollins had x-rays taken to determine the extent of a rib injury suffered during Clash of Champions main event with Kevin Owens. The situation will be addressed on Raw. Rollins seems to be legitimately injured during the main event, but the extent of the injury is unknown at this time. The WWE announced that the actors Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson will be guest hosts or guest stars on next week's edition of October 3rd of Raw from Los Angeles, California at the Staples Center. The duo have issues with Chris Jericho's character as he mocked Big Cass for mentioning them while questioning whether it was 1998. As previously reported, next week's Raw in Los Angeles will also feature Raw Women's Champion Charlotte defending against Sasha Banks and Raw Cruiserweight Champion TJ Perkins defending against Brian Kendrick. Hannibal TV has released more from their interview with Rene Dupree, who I just recently added as a friend on Facebook. He's been doing some workout videos and some other stuff. Talking about this time discussing the Chris Benoit murder-suicide issue. How it led to asking for his WWE release on this odd theory regarding the incident. And you can see the highlight. Here are the highlights as I follow this. Comments on working with Chris Benoit. He was another very quiet, intense individual. Very polite, but when he drank alcohol, you could see there was problems there. You saw a very evil person, and it has to do with neurological damage. Now that I know, because I speak with neurologists, and when you have lots of head traumas, and I know from personal experience, you're drinking alcohol, you black out, and become very violent. And I suffer from that as well. Now, on his theory regarding the Benoit murder-suicide, well, I like to talk about one thing that nobody talks about. There was another body found that day. Another wrestler died that day that nobody talks about, and he was kin to Chris. His name was Biff Wellington from Stampede Wrestling. That was Chris Benoit's former tag team partner. And they did tours together in Japan, and he was found the same day that Chris was found dead. He was found dead in Alberta. Now we all know that there was a text message or text messages between different wrestlers and Chris, right? To the office of WWE, Chavo Guerrero. Now we'd like to know if there was any communication between Biff Wellington and Chris. That's what I'd like to know. Of course, the police won't release that. This is evidence. Because that's an eerie coincidence to me as well. Could he have been talking to Mr. Wellington? On the death of Eddie Guerrero, that was hard. I still cry about it to this day. If I think about it too much, the two smoothest guys I've ever been in the ring with were Eddie and Tatsumi Fujinami. Yeah, that one. I don't want to talk about that one. On the Benoit incident, factoring into asking for his WWE release, again, that Chris Benoit thing. And then I relapsed. I relapsed on my drug of choice at the time, sitting at home looking at the TV. I mean, it was on every channel, Nancy Grace. Just everybody was ripping into the professional, and here is a guy that you looked up to all of a sudden. It's, you know what I mean? And just coming out of rehab. And this happens. And my rehab was in Atlanta, of all places. It's kind of creepy. Yeah, I relapsed off that. I said, you know what? I actually listened to what they told me in there. I don't want to die. I don't want to be a statistic. Yeah, I love the wrestling business, but I'm not going to die for it. Sorry. I have way too much to live for. I come from a very wealthy family. He laughs. Sorry. And you can catch more at the video. The video link as well, which I have not gone to. He also comments that if ever he thought about a comeback at that point, yeah, the initial plan was, you know what? And Johnny wouldn't accept it at first. He was like, give you a week to think about it, because he did not want to get rid. And I actually did show up at TV in Corpus Christi to say goodbye to everybody on that one Monday night Raw event. If looks could kill, the way Vince McMahon was looking at me, I'd be dead. The death stare. He doesn't like when people leave. He didn't want to understand. But here's the deal. Dude, the last thing you needed was a dead 23-year-old on your roster. That's exactly where I was headed. So it was best for me, and it was best for them. Well, that was the end of the highlights there. Gamer Revolution recently interviewed WWE World Champion and noted gamer AJ Styles. And he discussed some superstars he'd like to face in WWE he's never gotten in the ring with before. Here are some of the highlights. And if there's anyone yet he hasn't been able to get in the ring with, I honestly believe I've wrestled, there are still some guys in the world that I haven't had the opportunity to get in the ring with. That's going to come. I'm sure of it. I haven't been in the ring with Randy Orton. We're on SmackDown live. So eventually that's going to happen. I think that's going to be huge. That's going to be fun. So there's definitely guys on the SmackDown roster that I haven't had the opportunity to wrestle. And the Raw roster and the NXT roster. I think there's all these matches that people are going to want to see. It's going to happen eventually. And I'm one of them. I want these matches to happen as well. Styles then comments on a possible rematch. I don't know when or where, but it's eventually will happen. The WWE, they're smart. They know what they're doing. And when the time comes, everybody will be aware of it, and they won't want to miss it. More Cruiserweights debuted on Raw as Cruiserweight TJ Perkins defeated Tony Nese in a non-title match, formerly of TNA. I think it was last year or 2 years ago before he got an injury. And the team of Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander defeating Drew Gulak and Let's Dorado making their debuts. And you can see on this link some of the action that happened of the Let's Dorado, Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander. And also a picture of Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann as well from the CW Cruiserweight match. Tony Nese versus CWC champ TJ Perkins at this link. Twitter.com/WWE. Bayley versus Anna Fields making her debut on Raw, an local indie wrestler at this link. Michael Cole confirmed that Seth Rollins suffered damage to his ribs in the Universal title match against Kevin Owens on the pay-per-view, and noted that the former world champion is not currently cleared to compete. SmackDown General Manager Daniel Bryan tweeted the following to Cesaro during Raw, asking him when his contract ends. So we'd like to have you on SmackDown if you'd like to love to come back. Dear WWE Cesaro, when does your Raw contract end? We'd love to have you on SmackDown Live. Raw pre-show at this link. And Superstar spoilers, Neville versus Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn versus Curtis Axel was taped. As Raw General Manager Mick Foley announced that Cesaro and Sheamus will receive a Raw Tag Team title shot after the Best of 7 series ended in a tie. Should have been double count out, but it was like a no contest because both of them, the referee just stopped the match. Well, results and spoilers for Superstars. Neville defeated Jinder Mahal. Sami Zayn defeated Curtis Axel. Raw kicked off with the U.S. champion Roman Reigns making his way out. Rusev had a lot of weight in the ring. U.S. title match, Rusev versus Roman Reigns. I catch it halfway in the match. As my feed off and on. Intermittent internet with Comcast. We get the bell and they go to start. Rusev takes Reigns down early on and keeps him grounded. Back from a commercial break, Rusev he gained control. Reigns powered out of a hole with a big right hand. Rusev nailed a drop kick to the mouth. Rusev stood tall. His line of left at ringside. Rusev kept control with a couple of suplexes and 2 more pin attempts. Reigns finally makes a comeback, goes for a Superman punch, but Rusev caught him, and they both tumble over the top rope. Reigns lands on the back of Rusev's head, and both men go down as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Rusev covers for a 2 count. Rusev focuses on the back as they end up on the top rope. Reigns fights off of a superplex and knocks Rusev to the mat. Reigns with a clothesline from the top. Reigns ends up catching Rusev in a Samoan drop for a 2 count. More back and forth. Rusev misses a kick, eats a right hand. More shots from Reigns. Rusev with a spin kick for a 2 count. Rusev drops a pair of headbutts to the chest for another 2 count. Rusev gets back up top, but Reigns knocks him to the floor with a right hand. Reigns follows and sends him to the barrier as Reigns makes it back in, but Rusev nails a kick to the head. That's what happens when you throw your guy in. You got to be faster. He can just get up or no sell or whatever move. Reigns kicks out at 2. Rusev charges with super kick but misses. Reigns misses a Superman punch, but more back and forth action. Reigns runs into a super kick for another close pin attempt. Reigns ends up nailing a Superman punch, but Rusev kicks out at 2. Lana tries to distract Roman on the apron, but it backfired and Reigns sends Rusev out to the floor. Then Reigns nails a drive-by outside. Works over the first drive-by as he's standing about to try and get back in the ring. Nails that, sending him into the steps. Reigns knocks Rusev over the barrier into the crowd. Then Reigns fights Rusev through the crowd for a double countout. After the bell, 2 fight back to ringside, and Rusev takes control. Reigns goes for a Superman punch off the steps, but Rusev nails a steel chair shot to the gut. Rusev with another chair shot to the back. He slides Reigns and the chair into the ring. Rusev goes in and waits for the chair. Reigns nails a spear and grabs the chair himself. Reigns takes a seat in the chair with his title as some fans boo. Reigns' music hits as he looks down at Rusev as he goes to replays. Reigns' music stops and he walks over to smack Rusev in the back with a chair. Rusev retreats to the floor and Lana has Reigns stand tall with a title again. Rusev retreated to the floor with Lana. And then Reigns stood tall with the title again. Still to come segment, WWE Tag Team Champions New Day defend against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson in another Clash of Champions rematch. We got Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton. They plugged a new WWE 2K17 video that comes out in October. And it leads us to a cinematic trailer. We see Mick Foley walking backstage when he's headed out to address Sheamus versus Cesaro. Back to commercial. Back from the great outcomes of our general manager Mick Foley. We see how Sheamus versus Cesaro ended at Clash of Champions. Foley invites both men to the ring. Sheamus was out first, followed by Cesaro. Sheamus and Cesaro argue about who's tougher and who deserves a title shot. Foley says they are both right and they both will get a title shot together against the winner of the next match. WWE Tag Team Champions New Day make their way out. Tag team title match, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the New Day. Sheamus and Cesaro aren't happy as Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson make their way out as they are headed to the back. We go to commercial. Back from the break, and the match is already underway. Kobe takes out Gallows on the floor. As Kobe and Anderson go back in the ring, and Kobe kicks him into the corner, Gallows ends up coming back in, turning it around, but Kobe fights back. Kobe then springboards and gets caught for a chokeslam. Gallows covers for a 2 count. We go to commercial with Gallows in control. More back and forth after the break. Big E gets a tag and unloads on Anderson. Big E dances a bit, runs the ropes for a splash on Anderson, but knocks Gallows to the floor instead. Kobe flies out onto Gallows as well. Big E and Anderson go at it again. Big E runs into the ring post, and Anderson drop kicks in for a 2 count. Anderson waits for Big E to get up. Big E dodges and sends him to the apron. Big E spears Anderson through the second rope to the floor. Xavier Woods cheers him on at ringside. Well, with Francesca III in hand, they hit a midnight hour for a 2 count as Gallows breaks up the pinfall. Briefly, because the referee had not already stopped before Gallows even broke it up. Then Gallows goes to chokeslam Kobe, but he knees him in the face. Anderson and Gallows are both on the floor now. Big E tags in. Kobe runs the ropes, but Gallows pulls him out and sends him into the steel steps. Anderson with a top rope neckbreaker on Big E. Gallows comes in and hits the Magic Killer on Big E. But Kobe breaks up the pinfall with a close 2 count. Gallows tosses Kobe back out to the floor. Gallows kicks Woods in the neck from the ring. Shouldn't have been standing so close to the ring. Anderson tags in, but Kobe nails the DDT. Gallows gets sent to the floor. Kofi nails Trouble in Paradise on Anderson for the win. Apparently, Kofi gets injured in this match somehow. And I'll give you more results as I catch it. I'll give you the more details on that on the SmackDown live video. Well, after the bell, New Day recovers as Gallows and Anderson make their exit. New Day celebrates as we go back to the announcers. Announce the show with shots for the Clash of Champions main event. We also see the post-show video with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon leaving together. Coleslaw confirms that Rollins has some damage to his ribs and he's not medically cleared to compete. Back from the break, Cesaro and Sheamus are arguing backstage. Foley walks in and he's fired up. He says they stole the show last night and proved 7 matches wasn't enough. He can't put them out there for an 8th match because he risks losing one of them for good. But if he puts them together, they could change the face of the tag team wrestling. Foley says sometimes you put two people together and they create magic. He asks them to give it a chance and see if the magic is there. Foley says they are amazing and wants to show the fans what he's seen all along. Foley walks off and Cesaro and Sheamus stare each other down. Bayley versus Anna Fields. We got her ring. Out comes Bayley. Her opponent, Anna Fields, waits in the ring. The bell rings and Anna unloads, beating Bayley down. Bayley tries to fight back, but Anna keeps control and covers for a 2 count. Bayley ends up coming back and getting the win with a Bayley to belly suplex. After the match, Saxon interviewed Bayley in the ring. She gives props to Sasha Banks and Raw Women's Champion Charlotte for proving why they are the top 2 in the business from the pay-per-view. Bayley says her journey is just beginning and the WWE Universe is along for the ride with her. Foley is backstage with Stephanie McMahon. He's not so happy about last night's main event finish and then her leaving with Triple H after he asks her how things went. Stephanie defends what happened and lights into Foley about how it's his job to keep control of what happens in the ring. She hired him for his brains and to be a businessman, not for his health expertise. Stephanie goes on and asks Foley what he has to say for himself. Foley admits he was out of line, but wants to continue in this role. So he says he needs to prove he's worthy to be general manager. She brings up Seth Rollins not being cleared, but coming to start trouble tonight. Stephanie needs Foley to be a businessman tonight as she walks off. Still to come, Les Dorado and Drew Gulak versus Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander. Back to commercial. Rich Swann and Cedric. And that match is up next. Back from the break, out comes Rich Swann dancing to the ring. Cedric Alexander was out. We get a pre-match video from the 2. Drew Gulak was out next as we get a video package from him. His partner, Les Dorado, was out next as they also air a video package for them from the Cruiserweight Classic Division. 2 teams shake hands in the middle of the ring. Before the match, Dorado starts off with Swann as they go at it. Stalemates as they go back and forth. They even do flips and simultaneously as the crowd applauded. Backflips and what have you. More back and forth as we go to commercial after Dorado hit a moonsault to the floor on everyone else. All 3 of the other guys outside the ring. Back from the break, Gulak has Alexander down in the middle of the ring. Cedric gets a hot tag and unloads on Gulak. Cedric, with a kick to the head, Cedric comes flying off the top for a 2 count as Dorado breaks a pin. Swann then grabs Dorado but gets dropped. Cedric with a lumbar check on Dorado. Gulak with a nasty suplex on Cedric. Swann tags in and super kicks Gulak in the gut. Gulak catches Swann and then rolls him up for a 2 count. Swann with a kick to the mouth and a bridge for the win. Swann and Alexander win the match. After the match, we got a replays. Cedric and Swann celebrating the ring as the music plays. Still to come segment. Kevin Owens joins Chris Jericho on the highlight reel. We see Cesaro and Sheamus walking backstage, already trying to one-up each other. About the commercial. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Nick Cutler and Willis Williams. I didn't see this match. As my feed went out. I also took a bathroom break. Back from the break, out comes Cesaro. He begins ripping off his suit when Sheamus' music interrupts, and out he comes. Tension continues as they head to the ring. Local wrestlers Nick Cutler and Willis Williams wait in the ring. Cesaro starts off with Nick and shows off with a suplex. Pointing to Sheamus, Cesaro goes to tag Sheamus, but Sheamus drops off the apron and laughs. Cesaro slams Cutler. Cesaro tags Sheamus in when he's not paying attention. Sheamus tosses Cutler to the apron and beats on him with forearms. Cesaro applauds. Sheamus brings Cutler back in, but in comes Willis with offense on Sheamus until Sheamus floors him. Cesaro tags back in, and they have words. Cesaro goes at it with Willis while fans chant for the jobbers. Cutler tags back in for some double teaming. He focuses on Cesaro's shoulder. Cesaro comes back and looks to put Cutler away, but has to one up with Sheamus again. Cesaro finally covers one of the jobbers for the win. After the bell, Sheamus comes in to stand tall by himself and Cesaro rolls his eyes. They both take turns playing to the crowd before meeting in the middle of the ring to argue. Another still to come segment. The Raw debut of Cruiserweight Champion TJ Perkins. Coleslaw leads us to a video package on Perkins. Perkins is interviewed backstage and talks about living his dream he's had since 1998. Brian Kendrick interrupts and says Perkins owes him for his whole career. He owes him the title. Kendrick tells Perkins to go out there and enjoy Raw tonight while he can, because the next time they meet in the ring, Perkins will be waking up from the dream. Women's Champion Charlotte backstage walking with Dana Brooke. Back to commercial. Back from the break, out comes Women's Champion Charlotte with Dana Brooke. JoJo introduces them. Charlotte says once again she successfully defended the Raw Women's title last night from the pay-per-view. Clash of Champions, proving why she's the queen of the WWE Women's Division. Charlotte defied the odds and beat two of the greatest talents today. She did. That's the difference between she and her opponents. She doesn't talk the talk, she walks the walk. Charlotte says she's not the huggable Bayley or the internet darling Sasha Banks. She's the moneymaker and the face of this division. Sasha interrupts and her music plays, and out she comes with a microphone. Sasha tells Charlotte to slow her roll and check herself. Last night may have been Charlotte's, but the title is still Sasha's. Sasha says Charlotte pinned Bayley last night and she wants her rematch. And she wants it right now. Charlotte calls her Sasha Wanks. You get it? Wank. Wank. Charlotte says she's going to give Sasha the title match and takes off her robe. She laughs and says it will be next week in Los Angeles. Fans boo. They have words and Sasha drops Charlotte with a slap. Dana charges, but Sasha hits the backstabber and applies a bank statement. Charlotte breaks it up, but Sasha fights her off and sends her to the floor. Sasha tosses Dana out next as the fans cheer for her. Sasha's music hits and stands tall in the ring as the heels look on from ringside, clutching their faces. As we get replays, still to come segment again, Kevin Owens on the highlight reel. We see Seth Rollins backstage walking. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Foley asks Rollins how he's doing backstage. Rollins says nothing will stop him from interrupting the highlight reel. Foley says now is not the time because he's not cleared. Rollins saw Stephanie get into Triple H's limo last night, and you're not going to sit here and listen to Owens brag about what happened. Rollins hushed Foley and says he sees his lips moving, but hears Stephanie's words coming out. Rollins then walks off. TJ Perkins versus Tony Nese was up next. We go to the ring. Out comes Cruiserweight Champion TJ Perkins. It's announced that Kendrick will get a title shot next week on Raw. His opponent Tony Nese is out next as we get a video package of Tony Nese. The mate in the middle of the ring, before we get the bell, Nese takes control early on by overpowering Perkins. Back and forth until we get a commercial with Nese in control. Back from the break, Nese is still in control. We see some high-flying moves by Tony Nese. During the commercial, Nese gets a leg drop and a chop in the corner. Then Nese with a splash in the corner. Perkins ducks the clothesline and nails a hurricanrana. Perkins with more offense, but fans chant for CM Punk. Perkins keeps control for a close 2 count. Perkins nails a suplex and then a backdrop. Nice ends up countering a tornado DDT and draping Perkins over the top rope. Nice nails a running knee to the head for a close 2 count. Perkins counters and drop kicks Nice into the second rope. Perkins with a wrecking ball drop kick. Perkins goes on and gets the knee bar applied for the win. After the match, both men stand in the middle ring. As Perkins' arm is raised, he celebrates as his music plays. Cole Sauce leads us to a Hispanic Heritage Month video on former WWE champion Pedro Morales. Back from another commercial break. Chris Jericho out for another edition of the highlight reel. He starts by addressing a social media video from best friends and actors Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson. They will be coming to next week's Raw in Los Angeles, and Jericho threatens to put them on the list. Jericho moves on and introduces his best friend, Kevin Owens, Universal Champion. Owens comes out and gives Jericho props on the setup. Owens brags about retaining over Rollins at Clash of Champions last night. Owens says Rollins may have been the most dangerous man in WWE, but last night he took the man out, so that makes him the most dangerous man in WWE. Music hits, out comes Rollins. Security and agents come right out, specifically Finley. And right behind him to stop him from reaching ringside. Foley was also out. Owens taunts and mocks Rollins from the ring. Rollins reluctantly heads to the back. Jericho goes back to talking trash until the music hits, and out comes Enzo Amore and Big Cass to a pop. The two teams have words. They do it on over sick. How you doing? Do some comedy, and Jericho says they're on the list. Jericho accidentally says he will come out of the ring and sit on Cass's lap. Jericho denies it, and we get some laughs from the crowd. Enzo Amore even says the same thing as Lisa Cass, informing them that Foley made a tag match. Enzo and Cass versus Jericho and Owens. We go to commercial. Enzo and Cass head to the ring. Enzo and Big Cass versus Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Back from the break, Jericho goes at it with Enzo. Owens tags in and says he wants the big man. Cass comes in and Owens attacks in the corner. Cass turns around and tags in Enzo for some more double teaming. Sending Owens out to the floor, Cass tosses Jericho to the floor as well. Cass launches Enzo onto both opponents. Enzo comes back into the ring as the fans pop. Cass tags in and goes after Owens, bringing him back in. Owens nails Cass, turns it back around. Jericho comes back in, but Cass hits them both with sidewalk slams. Cass gets dumped out to the floor by Jericho. Cass sells a knee injury now. Owens stomps on Cass at ringside and sends him into the ring post as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Enzo finally gets a hot tag. Comes back in and they go at it. Jericho comes back in and they go at it. More back and forth with the heels getting the upper hand. Lots of mocking Enzo from the heels. Owens ends up going at it with Enzo. As Owens drops a big senton for a 2 count, Jericho comes back in with more offensive trash talking on Enzo. Cass waits for a hot tag. Jericho goes for a line salt, but he lands on Enzo's knees. Fans of Cass try to rally now. Owens and Cass get the tags. Cass with shoulder blocks. He knocks Jericho off the apron and hits a big fall-away slam on Owens. Cass tosses Jericho to the apron and splashes Owens in the corner. Jericho goes off the top, but Cass boots him on the way down. Cass slams Owens and drops the Empire Elbow. Cass plays for the crowd for a pop. Cass with a big side slam on Jericho. Cass misses a corner splash on Owens, hitting the top turnbuckle with his head. Owens hits the super kick. Owens goes for a corner cannonball, but Cass nails a big boot. Cass tags in Enzo for the rocket launcher, but Jericho interrupts with slaps to Cass. Cass tosses him to the apron and then boots him to the floor. Enzo with a top rope DDT on Owens for a 2 count. Owens floors Enzo with a huge clothesline. Owens with a big power bomb for the win. So the heel team gets the win. After bell, Owens gets the title, stands tall with his best friend in the middle of the ring. Owens steps on Enzo. Raw goes off the air with Jericho and Owens celebrating. After the show went off the air, Sami Zayn came out to confront Kevin Owens for a dark match. Main event. Sammy and Big Cass cleared the ring to send the crowd home happy. The advertised dark match did not happen from the one I mentioned earlier. So that's all they did. Sami Zayn coming out, confronting Kevin Owens. Zayn and Big Cass cleared the ring to end the program. And that concludes my video for Raw. Stay tuned for SmackDown. Coming up. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on BF. If you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters.